Hello everyone, Kirakuma84 here, and for this video it's very different because it's not a character theme song music video. But today I'm talking about games, and you obviously can tell what I'm wearing, and yes, I'm talking about Sonic. But this time I am talking about how I got into Sonic, and I'm gonna get to the topic after I finish. Alright, Sonic has been around since 20, June 23, 1991, and that makes it 33 years. And I got into Sonic by playing his very first game, and I got stuck by the World 2 zone. And I watched his show, Sonic X, and I love the franchise. I love the games, character designs, the mostly music. It always so goddamn good. It makes rock music to Sonic way perfectly for his franchise. But mostly, growing up from Sonic, I've been hearing about his comics, music, games, but mostly I didn't even know there is an Archie comic. But anyways, I've been hearing some good and bad games of Sonic. Mostly the good games of Sonic is Frontiers, Generations, Unleashed, and mostly the GOAT Sonic games is Sonic Adventures 1 and 2. Mostly 2 because it introduced the most legendary famous edgelord hedgehog. Yep, Shadow. And mostly that game is the best of all. Mostly there's only one dark moment of that game. The introduction of Gerald Robotnik. Mostly his video of his execution. Anyways, the only games that I've been playing of Sonic is Sonic Colors, Sonic Frontiers, Sonic Front Forces. Hearing about that is a bad game, but I liked it, and mostly it's the only Sonic game that I beat it. I complete the whole story and I beat every single level, and it was hard. So, anyways, I'm talking about one bad game that kind of ruined Sonic franchise when it released. I'm talking about Sonic 06. Probably asking why would I review to that game? Mostly, let me talk about a little bit of how I play it. Well, mostly when I played it when I was like 9 years old when I play it, and to tell you the truth, I kind of liked it a little. But I never played the whole entire thing. And mostly, I've been going some reviews about how bad it is. But mostly, I've been reacting to the Angry Video Game Nerd. And when I saw the way he plays, and it is that bad. And because all I see from his video is glitches and buggy types. Well, mostly for his perspective, it's all bad. Mostly, I've been reacting to part one, and I kind of not a little bit watch it from the part two. But I wanted, and mostly what makes this game so bad is there are too many glitches, the story is boring, and the character controls for Sonic, Amy, anyone else is so bad. And mostly the motion controls is too weird and janky, and some of voice acting. My bad thought about this game is the love story of Elise and Sonic. Like, why in the hell would a human will fall in love with a animal? Like, I'm not trying to make things bad, but still, it's way too weird and too cringy, you know. But I would go for Sonic and Amy. That makes sense. But a human with Sonic, damn. My only two good thoughts about this game is the music, and my personal song from that game is Dreams of Absolution. And the second opinion to make this game good is my favorite character, Silver the Hedgehog. I am gonna tell you 10 reasons why make this game so bad. And mostly, number one, development issues. They were being rushed. The game was rushed to meet for the 15th anniversary of Sonic series, leading to significant development compromise the team was split into two, which means Sonic there was the other half for making to make Sonic 06, and the other half was making Sonic and the Sega Rings for the Nintendo Wii, which means leaving Sonic 06 unfinished. That's why making so many buggy glitches. And the unfinished state. Due to times and constraints of the game released unfinished to lack proper polish and had numerous bugs and glitches performance issues. Number two, te- technical problems. As I said, glitches and bugs. The game notorious for the game-breaking bugs. Players often encounter clipping issues, broken collisions, detection, and characters struck in the environment. The loading time. That one has to make the worst thing of all to make this game so bad is loading. Sonic 06 suffers from incredibly long loading times. Players have set to multiple loading screens before and after almost every action of or cutscenes. Yes, I'm talking about there are loadings between cutscenes. Like, why the heck in the hell would you put loading in a cutscene? You couldn't just like fade away and then continue with the cutscene, and there it is. But mostly severely affecting the game pacing. I feel like that game had to make for 24 hours to play, and because the loading and framing rate issues. The game often suffered from severe frame rate drops, which made fast-pacing platforms sections collecting to control, especially for Sonic game to release on speed. Which I feel like that one makes had to the speed boost for Sonic makes him slow on this game. Number three, the game flaws. Poor controls. The controls were widely considered for being unresponsive and impressive in praise. Sonic, known for speed, agony, felt glitchy and slow, leading to frustrating gameplay. Well, I have not even played the whole game, but still, really watching some reviews to make this game bad, I understand. And the level designs. The level could have been better designed with awkward platforming section and unclear ob- objectives. Some areas, like the match speed sections, were nearly impossible and negative due to the controls and camera angles. Speaking of camera angles, camera problems. The camera was one of the game's most significant flaws. It arrogant movement frankly to got stuck or over awkward angles, making it so difficult to hazards and problems in path. Just like say when Sonic goes to near the mountain, you get stuck by that mountain. And like it stop you. Like why the hell it would just stop you? Well, even though it kind of makes sense for reality, but still. It makes no damn sense. And number four, the storyline criticisms. Conflict plot. The plot was criticized for being overly complicated and filled with nonsensical time travel elements. The game attempts to interrupt more serious, darker themes crashed with Sonic tragically light-hearted tone and romantic subplot. One of the most controversial aspects of the game was romantic subplot between Sonic and Princess Alice. I've been talking about that earlier. A human character, many players viewed the human hedgehog romance as a bizarre and uncomfortable. Yeah, so mostly for the final story of that game when Alice kisses Sonic. Like, why? That makes oh, and mostly I don't know how Amy would feel about that. Character designs and mechanics. For Silver the Hedgehog was introduced with telekinesis powers. His gameplay was slower and more puzzle-oriented than Sonic, which clashes with the expensive fast-paced nature of franchise. And the unbalanced characters. The game forces players to play various characters, many has whom had under development or unpolished machines. For example, Shadow the Hedgehog gameplays involved driving vehicles which fell out of the place of and poorly executed. Number 6, critical replication. Poor reviews. The game received overwhelmingly negative reviews that critics and players alike. Yeah, no shit. Major conflicts centered around technical issues. Poor design choice and the game unfinished state. It holds low scores platforms in the Metacritic and has been widely planned in reviews as one of the worst Sonic game ever. It really ruined the franchise. It made Sonic look bad. And the fan backslash. The fans of Sonic series were deeply disappointed as they had high expectations for the game, which means they were really get too excited for the game even when it released. Which as which was part of the mainline stories and marked the character's 15th anniversary. And lastly, legacy. The negative reputation of Sonic 06 has been because infamous in gaming history as symbol and rushed, poorly developed games in the often cited in discussions and about the danger of the development schedules and the importance of quality control. And Sega negative response. Sega has distanced itself of the game with many of its elements and storyline erased from canon. That game is primarily concerned of the low point of the franchise, and the subject of Sonic has been taking significant steps and recovered from its damages. So, I guess they say Sega made a mistake. Damn, I did not expect that. Well, except one thing. Remember that bad, ugly design, horrifying, humanized Sonic character design for the early making of Sonic movie. Oh fucking yeah, that is way out of control. But good thing they listened to the fans and Sega realized they made a mistake. I forgot who designed it, but still, they realized they made a mistake. And mostly, let's just talk about the opening of Sonic 06. It was high quality, good graphics, and good movement. But after the loading screen came and pops out a weird design of the cutscenes. Like they couldn't make a good cutscene like how they did with Sonic Lost World, Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Colors, and Sonic Frontiers, and Sonic Generations. What's your opinion for making a good cutscene for the reboot of Sonic 06? Just let me know in the comments. And let me rephrase of my 10 opinions why it make this game so bad. And I take it back, it was 7. Mix it up with my 10 reasons why this game should have been better. But before I tell you of my personal review to make this game better, even though from all the bad things that make Sonic 06 the worst game, but let's just talk about my own personal thoughts to make this game more better. Mostly for the cutscenes. Like, even though the opening was great and all, but let me talk about Sonic how Sonic Unleashed opening is one of the best opening scenes of all. It has way so much movement and pacing and quality and audio, and it's way too good. And mostly even the other cutscenes is a little bit off from the opening, but it still makes the game so much better. Like literally so much better. The gameplay, how they fixed the boosting of Sonic, they make it more faster. Even though that Sonic Adventures 1 and 2 that make the graphic makes it look like from Nintendo 64 graphics. Just like how Mario 64 games look exactly like blocky circles. But still, that game is still considered one of the best Sonic games ever. And mostly for the other cutscenes of Sonic games like Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Frontiers, Sonic Lost World, and Sonic Colors. They still have make good cutscenes. My personal pick is Unleashed and Sonic Lost World and Colors. And in Generations, and mostly they have really good quality for their cutscenes. And mostly, no loading screen between the cutscenes, please! And mostly for Elise. I just don't know much about Elise, but besides the love story, but even though for design and for her character background, I don't know, something like that. For her design, should it be a half human and half animal? Because there's only one character that only appeared in Sonic movie, and it's not even a show, but it's appeared in the 1990s. And yeah, they even has a Sonic movie before the one that we all love, Sonic 1, Sonic 2, and the new coming Sonic 3, but mostly in the 90 movie Sonic, it has this character named Sarah, but still, her design is a human, but she has a tail and her bow supposed to be her ears. But the thing is, she's half human and half cat, and that makes sense for some reason. But mostly it's for Neko, and mostly have her character changed by like an animal, like everyone else, like Sonic, Amy, Tails, Knuckles, Vector. Like those characters are like animals. Mostly, my personal pick will be a deer. Reason why I choose a deer for will be good fit for at least new character design is because a deer is often to see as a symbol of gentleness, grace, and nobility qualities that aligns and well with Elise. Elise's charm, her compassionate nature, like a deer. For Elise shows her inner strength and resilience and peaceful demeanor despite the turmoil around her. Mostly the deer connection to nature and probably could highlight of her role as a caring leader who wishes protect her own people. And mostly what your guys would think will for her new design will be. And mostly I seen a pictures of Sonic Elise will be a squirrel or a hedgehog. But anyways, another design character will need to be fixed is Eggman. They made him way too humanoid. Like they gave him a big forehead and normal eyes, well mostly glasses, and a human nose, a regular nose. Like why? And mostly even his mustache looks good, but why make him humanized? Oh god, it always had to remind of that ugly Sonic design. But make him turn him back in like how he is, like the goofy, lovable goofball number one bad guy. And even though and also the background characters, like we all know that we talk to them, the side quests, and mostly how would they talk, their movement, even though they lips were not even matching the words, but like make the human looks good, like make them from the same design from Sonic Unleashed. Like their character designs were good and a little bit goofball, but still, I love it. And now we are gonna talk about the 10 reasons why this game could have been better and make this game look good, like how they did with Sonic Frontiers. Fixing technical problems from all the glitches will be fixed. The first most important changes will be the game addressing the numerous bugs and glitches and prologue the game. The game testing and bug fixing will have a significant improve the player's experience, making the game functional and stable. Important load and mostly improvise the loading time, reducing how extremely low of the time will between levels and cutscenes would have improved the game pacing. This could be achieved by streamlining access and optimizing how game loads connect the frame rate stably, and optimizing the game performance and ensure a stable from frame rate, especially in fast-paced action sequences, would make the game play more smoother and more enjoyable. Number two, improving controls and cameras. Responsive controls. Refining the controls to make more responsive and praising would make a significant enhance the core gameplay. Sonic is known for his speed, obviously, since he's the fastest thing alive. So, ensuring his movement will be fluid and easy to control with his made and made the platforming sequence less frustrating. The camera improvements. The camera for Sonic 06 was more truly unrelatable, often getting stuck and moving awkwardly and more dramatic. A player-friendly camera system will make navigating levels far less frustrating and allowing the players to see hazards and platforming more clearly. And mostly, number three, refining level design. Better level design makes many levels Sonic 06 needed to make a better design with awkward platforming, unclear objectives, and frustrating match speed sections. Reciting levels makes more thoughtful and lay out the complex each other character's abilities, forcing how flow, challenge, and fun would significantly improve the gameplay experience. The balance difficulty. Some game sections could be happen more manageable to do better controls or level design. The balancing the difficulty and designing levels to challenge players without being unfair will make the game more enjoyable and fun. Number four, polish, polishing character gameplays. Streaming character mechanics. The game features three main characters: Sonic, Shadow, and Silver, which makes which different gameplay styles, with more attention and balance and each character playstyle, could have been better defined and refined. For Sonic, forces his traditional speed-based platforming while ensuring tight, responsive control to develop, deliver the classic Sonic experience. Shadow. Shadow combat machines and vehicles section could have been more polished, with more smoother controls and more aging level designs. And Silver. Silver telekinesis powers were interesting, but his slower pacing didn't fit well to the fast pacing Sonic Universe speeding up with Silver gameplay, or adding more exciting uses for his power, like make his sense more fun, and fewer character shifts, reducing the quaint character shift in the levels would provide a more construct experience, instead of allowing players to explore complete levels with one character offering a more smoother and more cohesive progression. And number five, simplifying the storyline. Streaming plot. The game story was overly convoluted with the confusing time travel elements and controversial romance between Sonic and the human princess Elise. Keeping the line for Sonic lighter and tone would make a more engaging. The tone constantly. Balancing the darker tone with Sonic typically fun, light-hearted nature could have created a more concept narrative, avoiding overly serious plot points, like the human hedgehog romance, would have make it more story accessible to long-time fans and newspapers. Well, mostly for me, like why not have at least having feelings with someone else, you know? Like keep her character more better if she was kept us human. Okay, number 6, refining the boss fights. More dynamic boss fights. Many bosses fight in Sonic 06 were re- repetitive and more frustrating due to the poor design, reducing bosses and incorporate more dynamic moment patterns and engaging machines would have made this encounters and more exciting and satisfying to complete. And number 7, the streaming side quest to and hub worlds. More engaging hub worlds. The hub worlds in Sonic 06 felt way too empty and way too tedious. By reducing unnecessary fetch quests to add more me- meaningful side missions, these are areas could have become more engaging with and world exploring. Faster explanation, providing faster movement opinions like the sprints or vehicles in the hub world will have reduced the sluggish feel and improved pacing. The audio and voice acting. We need to have a better voice acting and dialogue. Improving the voice acting and dialogue will help make the story more enjoyable. The script was widely criticized and being awkward, so rewriting the dialogue to be less cheesy and more natural would have and significantly improved the narrative impression. Mostly, like, why did that character movement for every time they talk? Like, just say at least when she say okay, like she had to say okay like this. Okay, like she was banging her head. Damn, like change that, fix that, please. Okay, polishing soundtrack. The soundtrack was one of the few elements praised in Sonic 06. However, adding more dynamic music to the changes bass and gameplays. Intensity, for example, during the boss fight or high-speed sections, could further elevate the game atmosphere. And number 9, pacing and flow. Smoother pacing. The game suffered so much from inconsistent pacing, with frequent loading screens interrupting the flow, streamlining to the progression between levels and cutscenes, and reducing filler content will keep the experience more focused and enjoyable. Shorter cutscenes. Reducing the length of cutscene and making them more constant would help maintain monotone, keeping players immersed in the action. And lastly, number 10, quality ensuring and testing. Intense the development time for Sonic 06 primary reason for failure was its rushed development. Given more time for polished bug fixing and refinement, the game would have been released in a far complete enjoyable state. An extended development cycle and multiple playtesting phase would have ensured that all significant issues were caught and resolved before the launch. Well, mostly, like my personal opinion, to make Sonic 06 more better, to make it release on for the Sonic anniversary 35th or 40. Which is your opinion for a new Sonic reboot for Sonic anniversary 35th anniversary or 40th anniversary? Which is your opinion? Before I get to my last opinion for the Sonic 06 reboot, the thing is, when I watched the Angry Video Game Nerd channel when he played the Sonic 06, when you lost the life, you start all over. Not just the outside the level, not at the town at the beginning of the game. Oh, why? Just why we had to do that? That makes no goddamn sense. But mostly, why not they can fix it, you know? Like, when you lose all lives, you can come outside of the level before you enter, you know? Makes more simple. Instead of have to go back and start all over the game again. Just like to say, you're on your way to the final battle, and last story, and you died, and you had to start the game all over. Yep. And let me tell you, when on the character selections like Knuckles, Shadow, Silver, Rouge, Amy, like make their adventure and story more better. Even though that kind of reminds me of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, how when you played those characters. Yeah. So that's my opinion before the last one. Alright, let's get to it. And my last opinion to make this game more better is my boy Silver the Hedgehog. The reason why I want Silver to be better in the Sonic franchise is that I've been hearing mixed feelings about Silver. Like, even Sega hates him. Like, why the hell would you hate your own character that you made? Like, they introduced him as cool and all, but mostly slow. And even first, they made him weak in even the Archie comics. Even though he was fighting an enemy, they put him in all fours and made him cry. And mostly in Sonic Forces, when he trying to face off Infinite, they made him weak. Like, seriously, have my boy, have him a good character. And I'm going to give you reasons to make Sonic a better character, lovable, and have more character development in the new Sonic the Hedgehog remake. Okay, number one, flash out his backstory. Like enhancing the future timeline, give him more details of Silver's disparate future, showing more how it fell apart, daily life, and how his role as a hero development. This would deepen his motion, trying to save the future. Connection with Blaze. I don't know much about those two, like strengthening his relationship with Blaze the cat, explaining how they met and their shared mission. This connection can add an emotional weight to Silver's journey. Number two, clarify his motivations. Reframe, reframe his mission instead of relying slowly to stop the Elizabeth trigger. Make Silver question whether his mission is morally right. Introduce moments and self-doubt where he wonders if it changes the past will genuinely solve the future problems. Creating depth with villains, allowing to introduce instruct more personality with Mythilus, giving him sense where Mythilus manipulates him to more complex dialogue, embracing Silver and expression experience and desire to be a hero. Number three, character growth and development. Strength native grow into a leader. Early on, Silver could have been portrayed as overly idealistic, relying too much on his powers. As he progresses, he learns on not everything can be solved through by force, leading leading him to become more strategic and thoughtful. Developing friendships with develop his friendship with Sonic and Shadow. Rather than purely being rivals, Silver should develop meaningful bonds with Shadow and Sonic, leading him lessons that guide his growth as a hero. Through their influence, he can learn what being a hero really means. Number four, improving his powers and gameplays. Refining his physiconomics make his telekinesis powers to make more fluid and powerful in the game. Let players experiment with his using object creativity and balance and their abilities to make them fun and but challenging. Adding combat virally, introducing more virally in how Silver could use his power in battle, like defaulting enemy attacks, using environmental elements, or combining his powers with others, e.g., a combo attack with Sonic and or Shadow. Number five, strengthen his emotional moments. Highlight his determination, embracing Silver emotional turmoil, and he tries to prevent the doom future. That could have been portrayed portrayed through the dialogue and cutscene showing his struggle with his failure or the fear of efforts that might be in vain. Create personal strikes that show how the future personality affects him, perhaps during flashback or loved ones, friends, or moments lost. This will give players more empathy for Silver's mission. Number 6. Gave him agency in the story, avoiding making him a tool for others. In the original Sonic 06, Silver is manipulated by Mythilus, a better approach to make him more active in discovering the truth. Let him figure out his own that he being manipulated or give him more agency to the story. And number 7, better voice acting. Natural dialogue gave Silver more natural, less dramatic lines in praising his youth and determination. Make him sound more relatable and more rather than native or gullible. Voicing actor improvement. A reboost performance and for Silver acting could help convey his emotional depth and personal growth and his voice in direction or could highlight a new nuisance to Silver's journey. Number 8. Make him relatable and sympathetic. Show his vulnerability makes Silver more emotionally vulnerable. His quest to save the future is heavily to show moments when he feels overwhelmed or conflicted can make him more human. Let him question himself but pursued, making the audience root for him and creating more personal stakes. Have Silver experience personal losses or setbacks related to his imposed pain future. Show how these shape his ideals and determination, giving the player more reason to empathize with him. Inject humor and light-heartedness. With Silver is serious about to save the future, give him more moments or of highlight humor or innocence. This will make him feel less like one-dimensional serious character and more endearing. Number 9. Deeper friendship and relations. Focus on his friendship with Blaze. Like I explained, like how those two were met and shared missions. With Silver, relationship with Blaze could be a central emotional anchor. The deeper friendship should be explored in a way that shows their trust and mutual respect for each other, and presents moments to conflict that strengthen their bond. Build well, even though I talk about for Sonic and Shadow and Silver's bonding, but or mostly evolve to a rival comrades. Early on, he might be an idealistic and impulsive, but through interactions with these characters, like Silver could have learned from experience by how they ended the story. They share moments and mutual understanding and teamwork. Number 10. Gave him a stronger hero journey. Highlight his growth that Silver as a native, some reckless character who believes that I can change the future through sheer determination. Over the time has him realize that being a hero isn't a power alone but wisdom and teamwork and understanding. Make him doubt his own missions. At some point in the story, Silver faces significant crisis and faith, questioning whether he is doing the correct or capable of saving the future. His inventional relationship to keep fighting despite his doubts will make his journey more meaningful and inspiring. Number 11. Balancing his power in the gameplay. Evoke his telekinesis abilities with Silver's powers development on along his character early on. His telekinesis could be limited or difficult to control. As matures, his powers become more refining and versatile. symbolizing his own growth as a character, introducing meaningful power limits. To make him more lovable, Silver's struggles with controlling his powers could be a point for vulnerability. Overcoming the struggle throughout the game will be a good add to a later improvement and reliability. And number 12, make him emotionally intelligent. Highlight empathy. Silver compassion for others, especially his future, could be defining trait emphasizing his emotional intelligence, his ability to understand, to connect with others, even though challenging situations. Show his empathy, affection to dissection and introductions. Gave him more moments in comforting others. Show Silver reaching out for others for help. Emotionally, whether confronting Blaze during that difficult moment or offering encouragement to Shadow and Sonic, these moments could solidify as him as a heartwarming character. Number 13, create a heartwarming and memorable scenes. Focus on his flashback and his heartfelt flashbacks. Rather than only showing him as a hero, show parts of Silver's childhood or early life. In the ruined future, flashbacks of when he first met Blaze, trained and telekinesis, or lost loved ones, and would he create more emotional investment? Make his interactions meaningful. Silver connections with other characters should reveal more layers to his personality. His hopes, fears, and dreams. This will make him more enduring and memorable. Number 14, improving writing and dialogue. Humanize his dialogue. Write Silver with dialogue that reflects his youth and determination instead of being overly formal and serious all the time. Let him express uncertainty, excitement, of even frustration in natural ways. Voice acting and tone. Unsure that Silver's voice acting being a range of emotions from passion and hope, vulnerability, a warm and genuine voice can go a long way in making Silver feel lovable. And lastly, number 15, allowing for personal victories. Let him save the day in his way. Rather than relying entirely on Sonic or Shadow, Silver should have his moments where he saves the day or plays a pivotal role in critical events. His unique contribution in the story will help establish him as a hero in his own right. Reward his growth. In the finale, Silver's growth should be rewarded not just by saving the future, but by earning the respect and admiration of others. This resolution, resolution will leave a lasting impression and elevate his character. Well, that's my response and review and requesting for Sonic 06 remake. What's your thoughts on Sonic 06 reboot? Mostly I've been hearing about Sonic Project 06 is kind of better, but mostly I prefer my idea. Well, mostly, what's your thoughts for a reboot for Sonic 06? Comment below, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.